Bill's back. Who else seeks recollection? Mr. Lynch, you are now recognized.
Thank you, Madam Chair. This resolution presumes that the Infrastructure Investment and Jobs Act, also known as the bipartisan infrastructure law, causes inflation. But the truth is that we've had extensive assessments and reviews by Nobel laureates, 17 of them, in fact, including conservative economists, who have opined and in agreement that this bipartisan law is good for the economy. In fact, these 17 Nobel Prize-winning economists recently published an open letter stating that the bipartisan infrastructure law, along with other components of President Biden's economic agenda, quote, will ease longer-term inflationary pressures, close quote, by investing in long-term economic capacity and enhancing the ability of more Americans to participate in the economy. And even though, we sometimes look askance at opinions by economists, to have 17 Nobel laureates, and as I said, several of them, many of them of a conservative political bent, weigh in on the economy in this fashion, I think there's reason to pay attention. And many conservatives agree. Conservative economist Douglas Holtz-Eakins, who has been prominent in the last 2 decades with conservative economic thought, and Michael Strain, both who have been called as witnesses by House Republicans during this Congress, explained that the infrastructure law, quote, would boost the supply side of the economy, reducing inflationary pressures. That's exactly what this bill does. And let's not forget, this was a bipartisan piece of legislation designed to improve our nation's sagging infrastructure and put money back into the pockets of the American people. Moody's Analytics estimates that as a result of this law, the U.S. will have, quote, an additional... Is someone trying to...
Mr. Raskin, please mute.
Okay. So let's not forget, this was bipartisan legislation designed to improve our nation's sagging infrastructure and put money back into the pockets of the American people. Moody's Analytics estimates that as a result of this law, the U.S. will have, and I quote, an additional 600,000 jobs in 2024 and an additional 800,000 jobs in 2025, and that is just the short-term or near-term impact. So I think the economists who have weighed in here that the bipartisan infrastructure law reduces inflation over the long run while creating new good-paying jobs is well documented. And today's resolution is merely, I think, a sideshow, and I urge my colleagues to report it unfavorably. Thank you, and I yield back.